Getting brighter. Well, after that, I'd like to say that I'm delighted to be here. The last time I spoke to a rather powerful audience, I assume you're powerful, it was in Tokyo, Japan in 1984. And all the heads of the aviation division and the heads of our commission for LAX and our deputy general manager were the head speakers at the head table, and I was to speak on the improvements at LAX in 1984. I think I'll sit down. Is that all right?
That's great.
I don't need that. Oh. So, till we get our feet in order, we appeared in this room and full of Japanese, mostly men, as you all know. And so when they introduced me, the head table all left. So I thought, well, that's sort of funny, but okay. And the interpreter and I proceeded to say that LAX would be ready in '84 for the Olympic Games, not to worry about the traffic, and everything was just fine. And in those days, we went on junkets, and you read about them today, but they were to wave the flag for Los Angeles and the airport. They were junkets to help those people understand we were the best place in the world. You read about them, but truly, we were waving the flag for LAX. So today, I'm going to give you a little background on the history of LAX, and then a little walkthrough through our gem at LAX, which is the Flight Path Museum and Learning Center. And we started this with a group of citizens from the communities around LAX, activists, and I assume you're all going to be activists in your day. You're all pretty young, but that's good. We need young ones. So we started with the Westchester area, the Department of Airports at that time, and some community activists, the Westchester Chamber at that time, and we formed a Flight Path Learning Center of Southern California. We became a 501c3 and proceeded to put plaques in the ground for various aviation enthusiasts that had done a body of work for the industry in Southern California. We put in the Wright brothers because they were rather important. And we put in Amelia Earhart because she was good. And we put in Charles Lindbergh because he's the one that was really instrumental in bringing aviation to the forefront. This thing bobs around a lot. And Charles Lindbergh flew the route after he had made his transatlantic flight, and he flew the route of all the airports under consideration to be LA Municipal Airport. And he said the one at LAX, long, flat, sloping approach was the best, and into the sea breezes. So whether you like it or not, that was good, and it's the best place and a fine airport. I'm going to take you a little bit of history of that. Had we not formed the Flight Path Museum, management and the activists around the community, I think we would not have really saved the history of LAX. I had a lot under my desk, but it really wouldn't have been saved had we not had the facility, which was the Imperial Terminal, also a historical place, in 1970. So we began, the airport opened that Flight Path Museum, and you have a little brochure in 2003 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Wright brothers and the 75th anniversary of LAX. So, Ricardo, are you ready? Yeah, ready. Roll them. This is the way it was. Charles Lindbergh used to hang out at LAX. Amelia Earhart, that's the fashions of the 30s. Hangar 1, still there. The airport in 1930. Air races. Everybody came out to see these magnificent planes. The airport in 1948. visiting celebrities and dignitaries, Ike. The first jet in 1959. The beginning of the jet age, the theme building. The airport then, if you can recognize it, dedicated in 1961 by Vice President Johnson. Visitors like Jack Kennedy, the Beatles, Lucy trying out the moving sidewalk, Governor Reagan, Bob Hope on his USO tours, the pregnant Guppy, the Concorde in 1974, Gerald Ford, Pat and Richard Nixon to China, Barbara and George. The airport in 1984, the airport today, and at the museum we entertain children and have seminars, learning procedures. Santa comes to visit on the helicopter for the neighborhood kindergarten children. And then we'll walk through. We have kindergarten because after that they get a little bit wiser, unfortunately. Free parking at the museum, open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 3. Free coffee, free admission. P-40 cockpit as you enter the main area. Lost baggage is here. You like that? Into the main gallery. And we go through the decades of flight, the 100 years. The airport is 80 years. First stewardesses, now 80 years in the making. They were nurses. The Wright brothers flew 120 feet that day in 2003. 120 feet. Became an airport in 1928. During the war, we were making airplanes for the war effort. Most airplanes made in any part of the world. And the winning airplane was the P-51. If any of you are, I don't think you're old enough. But that's okay. Through the decades, through the 60s and the 70s, the changes in the 80s, we modernized with a second-level roadway and 2 new terminals. And now we're about to expand the new terminal, which is 26 years old. In the main gallery, displays given to the 5 original carriers that came over from Lockheed Burbank in 1946. That would be United, Pan Am, TWA, Western, and American Airlines. This particular model airplane, the engines did go, and it is used in Indiana Jones, with the background filling in the rest of it. And we into the Flying Tiger room where the galley is, and a tribute to Flying Tiger Airline, the first cargo airline. And we received that display from the Santa Monica Museum. This is the LAX room, and it features TWA display, and various people have brought us memorabilia, mostly from their garages, and the wives are very glad that the garages are cleaned out. Collection of uniforms that you will never see anywhere else, probably 300 or 400, all by airline, by era, and by size. Greatest collection is United Airlines, which I also had in my garage. Pan Am, really the finest carrier, began it all and then didn't survive. And PSA, you'll remember that airline, and you may not. And they whipped up to San Francisco and back for about $13.95 one way. Research library, uniforms from the 30s there to the 68, how they changed through the war years. Then we have a simulator program for young people, 12 to highest is 73. And intent. And they've learned, there's 6 sessions, they're going on now, today, right now, and 3 hours, and you can fly any airport, any airplane, and then you can try to land it, try to take it off, try to taxi, try to stay on the white line on the runway. The vision you see would be actual vision of where you are with that airplane. Amazing thing. So we have those sessions 3 times a year, probably more than that. All the computers donated by the Westchester Women's Club, the American Legion, and various activists in the area. You'd come and try that and see if you can stay on the line. So we try to reach students. We try to get them interested in careers and carrying on with their, somehow getting a spark of interest for aviation. Outside we have a DC-3 built in 1940 for TWA, then became an executive aircraft for in 1982 for the Union Oil. Out our front window and outside with an escort you can take pictures, and we have planes taking off and out of the way, Ricardo. And the song is our own song, probably the only airport in the world that has a song. And she was a country singer, and she came to visit, left her gold records. Fantastic story. So this is what we have at LAX. Across the field is the passenger terminal, but come see us at the Flight Path Museum. Cargo airliners taxiing by all the time. President comes once in a while, or had come a lot more. Qantas A380. I would say to you people that the best thing you should do is never stop learning, because you just, and I haven't stopped, and you just have to do that and carry on for your community. I think you got that. Wait a minute, we haven't finished. In the olden days, and I guess I can say that to this group, and you probably wouldn't understand it, but we used to say goodbye, and we say, see you in the funnies. Well, I'm in the comic book that you have, and you would never dream in your wildest imagination that you would be in the funnies. So, thank you very much, and enjoy the day.